Males of Reddit. What's your creepy girl story? Story 1. Told my friend he should break up with his GF because she was threatening to eliminate herself and cheat over extremely petty stuff. He told her what I said, so she told her brothers that I said I was going to violation her. I had 3 of her brothers, all around 24 while I was 16, telling me they were going to eliminate me, and one of them even drove by my house with a gun pointed at me. Answer. Told my friend he should break up with his GF because she was threatening to eliminate herself and cheat over extremely petty stuff. He told her what I said, so she told her brothers that I said I was going to violation her. I had 3 of her brothers, all around 24 while I was 16, telling me they were going to eliminate me, and one of them even drove by my house with a gun pointed at me. The girl is very crazy, but I think your friend is very stupid that told his girlfriend what you said. Story 2. Valentine's Day of my junior year of high school, 2 girls asked me out. One was super cute and timid, and I liked her a lot. The other had a boyfriend. After turning the second girl down, she went to her boyfriend and told him to beat me up because I was at fault for making her want to cheat on him. Her boyfriend apologized to me and broke up with her in the same sentence. We both received passing threats from that girl for multiple weeks after that. Story 3. She wasn't invited but tagged along with friends who were and came to my buddy's house for our friend's birthday party. We all got tipsy, hopped and pushed people into the pool, had a good old time. The next morning, my friend, the birthday boy, was awakened by this chick riding on top of him. She either played with his male body part mildly enough to not wake, but just arouse him, or took advantage of his morning wood. But either way, she sleep violationed my friend on his birthday and proceeded to soak the couch in piss. This was one expensive fudge couch, mind you, before leaving without saying a word. A week or so goes by. She is claiming she is pregnant and needs abortion money. Friend reached out to our friend group for advice. Turns out she has been known to violation tipsy guys, and in fact it happened to another friend of ours whom she also asked for abortion money. 4 years later, she's got 3 DUIs, and nobody knows how many guys she has taken advantage of or scammed out of fake abortion money. Story 4. Teenage me talking to a girl a year below. We used to play Neopets together, and one day she sent me a rose with her blood on it. She came to school the next day with a bandage on her wrist. Story 5. My first GF had a rough home life, and when I tried to break up with her, she said she would eliminate herself, so I backpedaled. This happened multiple times until one of her friends confided in me that she bragged about it to her because she disliked being single and was trying to date other people until he was replaced before breaking up with him. Answer. Threatening to eliminate yourself if someone tries to leave a relationship is recognized as domestic abuse. Edit. Since this is getting attention, here is a link that Yuan question Wo1Tinen provided that speaks in the subject. If someone says they will eliminate themselves if they leave you, get that person help fast. You can call 1-800-273-TALK 8255 and also read the link above, also spelling. Story 6. I dated this girl one summer during high school. She seemed nice enough and we kind of hit it off at a church function until my summer schedule started. I went from working evening at a local fast food joint to working overnights, and I guess she couldn't cope. She would call my house and accuse my mom of lying for me and demand she tell her where I really was. She'd drive by all night and would even wait for me to get home at 6 or 7, still in my work uniform, and accuse me of cheating. Eventually, she'd start calling me every hour or so at work, which, as you can imagine, my managers just loved. She did not take the breakup well, threatening to eliminate herself. She threatened to eliminate me, and she threatened to eliminate my dog. When I started dating a coworker towards the end of the summer, she threatened her too. Story 7. lied about being married, and wore a ring on her ring finger as proof of being married as a means of showing interest and trying to provoke me to cuckold a man that doesn't exist. She also sent a text to someone else right in front of me where I could easily see and clearly about me. It was about how he can't court a woman, in another attempt to provoke me to somehow be interested in her. Never mind the fact that she already made herself out to be a bullshitter and someone to avoid. Story 8. This was grade 9, and I still shudder thinking about it. She was a sort of parasite that fed off of attention. She was leeched onto a friend of mine, but decided to start sucking the life out of me after I was nice to her, by which I mean I acknowledged her presence. He tried to warn me about her, but I didn't listen. The first day after I met her, I began to experience what it's like to be stalked by her. She was a social vampire in the way that she would stand behind me until I acknowledged her existence, at which point she would immediately pull a chair up, push my friends out of the way, and would begin talking to me exclusively. If I tried talking to anyone else, she would insert herself into TBE conversation and try to make it about her again. She also liked horses. A lot. Like a weird amount. People make jokes about horse girls, but she made the stereotype look like some real private area shoot. She kept asking me to look at her drawings, and I eventually relented because I was too kind to tell her to fudge off. I should have. She liked to draw what she called miximals, which were just mixes and matches of animals. Not a bad concept, right? Except all of the animals she mixed had horse parts and throbbing, gigantic horse arousal. The first one she showed me was a horse with 8 spider legs and a giant horse cock fully erect. It sat underneath the spider horse like a stinger, one I'm sure she regularly pretended was stabbing her. When I went home, she added me on Facebook on 3 separate accounts, all with different names. On her main, she started talking to me about how she was super wet and about her self-care habits while simultaneously sending me pictures of gore. On the other accounts, she pretended to be other people from school to talk to me about herself and try to see if I was interested in her. I actually didn't realize it was her until a few days in, when I asked a friend why he was being so weird and talking about her so much. And the best part? This was all in a 24-hour period. She did this every day for weeks, and it didn't matter how many times I told her that I fudge dislike her guts, she wouldn't go. Every day she would try to talk to me, or try to add me on a different account because I blocked her, or she would give me surprise hugs from behind. She only left when she got bored of me and attached herself to someone else. She still scares me. I felt genuinely threatened by her. Story 9. Blocked her number because she would text me every day when I refused to reply anymore after telling her I didn't want to talk. 2 years later, I unblocked it out of curiosity, and she is still texting me daily. I sure hope I never run into her in person again, edit. Just woke up to see this blew up. Guess it's time to unblock her number to see if she sends a text today, edit 2. There it is, boys. Another text. Answer. That's frightening. Sometimes I don't think my conduct is 100 healthy and productive, e.g., need to start jogging, lost my temper with that customer services person. Then I read about these people on Reddit. Edit. I do think you should just keep a record of this with the authorities, in case she tries to hurt you in some way in the future, not just physical, could falsely claim you attacked her or something. She seems capable of anything. Story 10. Went out once after being matched online. Didn't work out. She kept calling during dates with other guys and asking them to tell me I was an idiot to pass her up. After no calls for a few months, she called crying and asking me to tell her current BF that we didn't have intimacy. She put him on the phone and he asked me directly. Of course, the answer was, no, we didn't. But he responded with, then why's she always hitting you up? I just hung up. She called 37 more times, but I didn't answer. Edit. I'm not even a catch. I didn't get another date for like a year after. Story 11. So, here's a creepy, picked up by a girl story. I was in a bar, having a beer, and this girl starts talking to me. She seems okay, but the bar is dark, hard to tell. She asks me if I want to go out to her truck and smoke a joint. I say yes. When we wander out of the bar, the bright lights outside illuminate her face in a disturbing way. I ignore what I am seeing. She says, "So where is your car?" I say, "I thought we were going to your truck." She says, "No, we are going to your car." Okay, I can deal with this. We get to my car, and she says, "Where is the joint?" I say, "I thought you had a joint." She says, "No, take me home." Okay, I can deal with this. So I start driving her home. As I am driving, she starts rambling, "You can fudge me. You can screw me. You can do anything you want to me." Okay, maybe I can deal with this. As we approach her apartment, she says, "I sure hope my boyfriend isn't home." Oh, fudge. Can I deal with this? She points to a convenience store and says, "Pull in there and go buy me a 12-pack of beer." I say, "I'm not buying you a 12-pack. So she gets out of the car to buy beer. I definitely cannot deal with this, slam the car into reverse, and race off. Into the night. I didn't go back to that bar for a year, creepy girl. Story 12. She broke into my dorm room without me knowing and stood over me while I slept. When I woke up, she invited me to a group scene. I noped the fudge out of there. Story 13. Till the woman that saved our condom from our first time together is not actually the craziest woman on the planet. Thanks, guys, and always remember to bring your own rubber. Story 14. Years ago, I had a roommate whose fiancé abruptly ended their relationship. The few days after they ended it, she would show up to my work. I worked retail at the time, looking for me. At the time, I wasn't sure why she kept trying to talk to me, but I never really liked her, and she really fudged my roommate up by ending the relationship with no explanation. I would constantly hide in the stockroom to avoid her, so she began waiting by my car for my shifts to end. I would usually wait it out until someone working would give me the all clear. But after a few days, I lost my patience and just decided to walk to my car. She was there. She confessed her love for me. I said no thanks, got in my car, and left. We randomly run into each other around town and always make awkward eye contact before I realize it's her. Story 15. I was a hood cleaner back in the day. You know, restaurant hoods over grills and fryers. Anyhow, I was supposed to clean the hoods at a Hardee's in northern Iowa one night. Normally, we get there at closing and the manager sticks around till we're done. Well, we get there at closing, and the person staying is a terrifyingly large woman with Mimi-esque makeup and chipper shredder teeth. She kept making small dot talk, and over the next 5 hours we were there, Check called 2 of her friends to come hang out too. Not a big deal until we started to clean up. Then she started draping herself over our equipment and started making aggressive intimacy comments. My employees started getting freaked out, and I was also. Finally, with me not even getting the paperwork signed, we were able to leave with her yelling, "You guys are hot and I want to fudge you," at our truck as we left the parking lot at 4 a.m. Fast forward a couple months and we are scheduled to go back there. I make a special request that she not be there. We are assured she isn't scheduled to work that night. Didn't stop her from showing up and making disgusting comments about making us come or her taking us both at the same time. I tell the manager we cannot continue the service and he'll need to find an alternate vendor as we won't out ourselves through that kind of treatment. The next day, I get called by my boss about a complaint he just got about intimacy assaulting a woman at a Hardee's in northern Iowa. Complaint said I was calling the woman at home, and when I got to the restaurant, I was taking my pants off. I called the manager at that location and got the whole story. Turns out this woman had a history of assaulting service guys at that restaurant. She chased their pest control guy out and the franchise. Maintenance guys refused to go to that restaurant. In the end, she got fired. I got creepy mail and phone calls for 6 months. Story 16. My ex-wife is definitely the creepiest girl I've ever known. She once told me she stood over her dad while he was sleeping with a knife and fantasized about eliminate him. Literally had the knife at his throat before his younger sister walked in. Then she said she liked to watch me sleep. She also said after marrying me that I was only supposed to be a practice boyfriend. She said she wanted to draw on my back, so I let her, and after I fell asleep, she got bored just drawing. So she pulled a razor blade and tried tracing her drawing. She also put in a few piercings when I was tipsy. Despite all the nutty things she did when we were together, there's still nothing compared to the hell she's put me through once we split. Story 17. Oh boy. It all started in elementary school when this weird girl took a liking to me. She'd follow me around at recess, and if I wanted a recess to myself, I'd have to outrun her and lose her. Kept me in shape. She was a year or two ahead of me, and as soon as she was able, she'd be a teacher's assistant in my class when she could. She'd be watching me from across the room and would pass notes to me asking if I'd marry her when I grew up. She also came to my mom's house a few times and left notes on the windowsill. Fast forward to high school, where we landed in the same film arts class. I was usually a cameraman, but when I was in the editing room, there she'd be. She had a face like the man in the moon, round, blank, and gave you the sense that you might look out your window one night and see it looking back in at you. She'd be ogling me from across the room, inching her chair closer and closer, and complimenting me on virtually everything. She likes my clothes, jewelry, hair, and eventually she wants to kiss me and date me. I was an awkward teenager, so I just dropped lots of hints that I wasn't interested, which she either didn't understand or just didn't give a darn. One day, she basically cornered me in a doorway and said she was going to kiss me. I was in such a position that I could only either take the kiss or physically push her away from me. I didn't know how to react at the time, so I pretty much did a combination of both. Another day, I was biking to school and she was sitting at the base of a telephone pole at the end of my street, looking at me as if she was expecting me to come that way. I thought it through and realized that she must have followed me home from school, then gotten up at the crack of dawn, come back to my street, and waited to see when I'd be leaving. This happened a few times, and I didn't tell anyone because I thought my family would make fun of me. We've both been out of school for a few years, and she hasn't given up yet. She's found me on Facebook and messaged me a few times saying she's tired of being single and would I ever date her. I've rejected her as clearly as I can, and I hope it sticks. She definitely has autism or something, and maybe she just can't let go of that childhood crush or can't process rejection. I hope she gets the help she needs. What was really infuriating was when I went to my family for advice. They were all like, "Oh, she likes you, and you should give her a chance." We need to teach our sons and daughters that stalking people is not okay. I answer. We need to teach our sons and daughters that stalking people is not okay. Adults of society in general really need to stop teaching kids, either actively or indirectly, that one person having strong romantic or pseudo-romantic feelings for another person isn't inherently a magical thing that must be adored. So much bullshittery and terrible behavior gets dismissed by people under the reasoning of person A likes person B. Person B should be happy. Loosen up. Give them a chance. Boys get excused with boys will be boys, and girls get excused with she's a girl so she can't be a threat. It's terrible. Story 18. Oh, my first blind date set up by friends. I was 22. I can't remember if I had just graduated or was about to, so either late 21 or just turned 22. I pick her up because she doesn't drive. Find out she's a sophomore in college, my alma mater. Cool. I was surprised I'd never seen her before because it wasn't a large uni and she was cute as hell. Fast forward maybe 2 or 3 hours. We just wrapped up dinner and a stroll in a park downtown. Everything went well and we're walking to a comedy club. She is saying things really weird now, like how happy she is that she met someone like me. About the places she wants to honeymoon at, how many kids we'd have, and how beautiful they'd be if we were married. Now, she was a looker and really fun to hang out with. But who talks about these kinds of things after knowing a person for several hours? Red flags. Cut later into the evening, and we're walking to the house I shared with a few roommates. Our place was maybe a block from the comedy club, college neighborhood. She stops me, and we make out for a bit. She is for real acting and talking like we have been longtime lovers now. I make the decision to suggest I take her home. It's getting late, but she insists on coming home with me. I pocket dial my friend. Oh, I'm getting a call. I play it like he needs me for something. He's all high giggling and saying stupid shoot as he realizes what must be happening. Now it turned for the worse in a big way. She gets angry, accusing me of being gay and how she never should have come on this date, etc. So she storms off. Whew. 15 minutes later, I am in my house laughing and chatting with my roommates about my date, and the back door opens. Guess who walks in? I knew it, she screams. Cue me trying to calm down this crazy girl. While my friends are laughing and taking pictures, eventually, her friend comes and gets her. Alicia, if you're out there, I hope you found love. Story 19. I had a month-long relationship with someone who was a tad unstable. Every other day during the relationship, she would be incredibly sad. Girl had some intense mood swings. She would be lovey-dovey one day and the next loud and argumentative. I probably let it last too long, looking back on it now. Anyways, I broke it off, and the next day she showed up at my job and said to my boss she was my wife and that something happened with our daughter. Well, when she walked up to me, she pulled out a knife and tried to stab me. Luckily, we have decent security at my job and someone tackled her and restrained her until police showed. She ended up getting charged and now has some jail time. The security guy and I are good friends now. We play cards on the weekends, LOL. Story 20. I'm not sure if this is creepy or just weird. When I was in my early 20s, I used to have real bad insomnia. I could easily still be up at 4 a.m. and still not feel tired. Anyways, this one night must have been 1 or 2 a.m. I was just sitting at the computer looking online and stuff, trying to get sleepy, when there's this knock at the door. Pretty weird to get someone at the door at that time, but I figure maybe it's an emergency from one of my neighbors. On one side, we had like a house where several people with Down syndrome lived with a carer of sorts, so I figured I should answer just in case. So, anyway, I answer the door and there's this random girl I'd never met and didn't recognize at all. She was dressed in everyday clothes, not like someone who'd been out to the pub or whatever, just jeans and a hoodie, and doesn't seem to be intoxicated in any way. She says she was told there was a party at my house, but I told her there wasn't. There was just me home alone trying to get tired enough to sleep. So she asks if she can use my phone, always wanting to believe the best in people. Before real adult cynicism set in, I invite her in and show her to the phone. She kind of dials numbers, which looked more like she pushed numbers at random and waited for someone to answer. Note, I have no idea if she actually called someone or if it was an act. After about 10 minutes of this, she gives up and claims she is actually homeless. Now, not to try and stereotype or anything, but her appearance didn't suggest she'd been sleeping rough at all. Her clothing was casual style, but not grubby, frayed or worn out in any way, so I was kind of suspicious, but Okay, I Google the nearest shelter, and there was one about a mile away, certainly walking distance, so I agree to walk her there. It was the middle of the night after all. On the walk, she starts trying to hold my hand, stroke my arm, that kind of thing, until we get to the end of the street where the shelter was. She says she's in love with me, and we should go back to my place, etc. I'd known her for less than an hour and never talked to her or seen her before that night, so I'm a little freaked out and tell her I'm not interested and that I'm seeing someone.